All right, Bosh, we're back. Squeezing Neck podcast, Blue Canary Studio. I said it right this time. I didn't fumble my words.
Studios.
With my, I was gonna say new mate. I've known you a while now, haven't I? Shaka Henry.
What's going
Bosh,
on, my bro?
thanks for doing this, mate. You realised outside I was a South London boy too, and his smile lit up.
Yeah, one of us.
Because he kind of gave me the little all right nod before. As soon as I said I was from South London, his eyes lit up, and we was like, long lost brothers, weren't we?
Man.
But as I say, mate, Blue Canary Studio.
Yeah.
RepDatTV badge behind us.
Yeah.
Before we get into anything, we'll be here as long as you want, but you tell us who you are and where we are.
Yeah, so we're here, Blue Canary Studios. I'm Shaka Henry. I'm the founder of RepDatTV, executive producer of Surviving South London, commercial director of Blue Canary Studios, commercial director of a lot of other different things and partnerships. And yeah, I'm me.
Cousin of Shane Mosley, we'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Every single time I was with Shane Mosley, everyone thought, and the thing is, I've grown up with my life, the only one with my eyes. And it's like, Shane came, I was like, yes, I'm not alone. And everyone was like, oh, you must be American. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, to give that context for anyone who's confused, we met recently at a Right to Fight press conference, right?
Yeah,
and then the event and everything, obviously. But we was there. Shane Mosley was topping the bill with Matty Floyd. And when I first walked in there, I was with Radio Raheem. Shout out Raheem.
Big up.
Got me in there. And it was like one of them situations where you just, you're meeting people. There's a few people I knew there from different boxing pieces and whatnot anyway. So I'm talking to people and I saw you standing relatively close to Shane Mosley and his team. And I just looked at it like, that's Shane Mosley's team. That's probably his brother, his cousin, whatever, right? And then as I said to you just now before we switched this on, I heard you speak in a London accent. I was like, how the fuck, what's going on? And anyway, turns out he's obviously nothing to do with Shane Mosley. He just looks at him.
Now, what it was is, how did we got connected with Right to Fight? So basically, known my mate Tony Giles a long time ago.
Shout out Big Tony.
Yeah, Tony, big up. So shouted him, he told me what he was doing. I said, listen, I'm tied up with a documentary at the moment, but any extra support I can throw. So introduced him to Radio Raheem, started getting the boxing link over. That's how Radio Raheem linked you. And we just connected all the dots. But so we was basically sponsoring it. So Surviving South London was the sponsor of the main event. That was the connection.
Right, okay.
So with Shane Mosley, I think you saw the videos that went viral when Julio and what was it? The one with the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
And they was fighting.
Pro boxer,
yeah. That was here.
That was here?
That was literally, that scene that went viral was right there. So every day I've come, so everyone's come up, all the boxers come up, Shane Mosley's come up, and every boxer's looking at me like I'm one of them. And I'm like, no, this is my studio. It was all mental, but yeah.
But it was mad because, like you touched on it there was a lot going on at that. When I was at the press conference, which was at Lions Boxing Gym, I think it's called, right? It's Lions, if I'm missing the name.
Mourinho's. No, it was Mourinho's.
No, the other one. The first one I went to was where the egg slap happened.
Yeah, that was Mourinho's.
No, that was Lions. I was at Lions. Yeah, because Mourinho's was the next day for the open workouts.
Right, yeah, I didn't go to Mourinho's.
Yeah, right. So Lions was where they had like a press conference, like an actual sit-down chat to it and whatever. And I met loads of people there that day actually. So that was a good day. And as it was like a 3-day bouncing, so it all sort of rolls into one, did it? There was, I believe, the open workouts and the weigh-ins were both at Marino's, weren't they? But
they're the two ones I didn't go to.
Right.
So we did like the photo shoot and the first press conference and just the fight. So, but it was chaotic, but big them up anyway. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, we were sponsoring that at Surviving South London. So that was the connection, and it's just brought a lot of people together. And we've had a crazy reaction. We've had like 330,000 views on social media in 3 weeks. We've had people offering to send us tracksuits, caps. It's just gone crazy. It's one
of the things, I don't know, people would like to call it law of attraction or what, but since I met you and I heard it, I hear it everywhere. Surviving South London, it's like everywhere, isn't it? And when, like as I said jokingly, when you heard I was from South London, there is like a, hey, one of us, right?
Yeah, it is. We're a clique. It's like we're a clan.
Yeah, right. There you go. There you go, right side of the river, I always say on this podcast. I've probably had more podcasts in North London actually, but never mind, we'll keep that quiet.
Big up North London though. I've
Still London, right?
Yeah,
Still
one
London.
of my daughters is from North London, so
There you go. They're allowed on the firm now. But let's get deep into Surviving South London, mate, and we'll work back with your background and whatnot. But for anyone who doesn't know, I don't know where you've been for the last few months, but for anyone who doesn't know, tell us what Surviving South London is.
So basically, bear in mind this is one of my first interviews as well, so just bear with me as well. But Surviving South London was kind of like an idea. So how it came around was we had the studio, like Clive just mentioned. I'm sure if you're going to show the interviews, you mentioned it. So we linked up around 5 years ago. One of my old camera people his dad was like best friends with Clive.
Right.
So he kept telling me about this amazing studio. It's like 5 years ago, and I'm like, this time I was at a TV station called Yanga. So I was the commercial director of a Sky TV station up in Chiswick Park, and he just kept screaming, just come to the studio. So I've come down there, I've looked, and probably like you, didn't understand green screen, didn't understand any of this, but I said, this is phenomenal. We need to touch base. And I think we just kind of left it for a while. I did my thing, he did his thing. And then what did we do? We did one post on social media. Now, I'm notorious for sending out WhatsApp messages to everyone. Right. So I will go through everyone on my phone book and send out a broadcast message to everyone. So one of the messages, Clive saw it, and he was like, oh, you've got 1 million views. And I was like, yeah, we've got about 6-7 million views on social media. He was like, you need to come. And then I was like, well, as you know, I've worked at a TV station, I've sold space, let's have a conversation. We came here, and originally it was just a partnership to come up with new programming, but fundamentally selling space for the studio. Phenomenal studio. Sure, you'll give it a little whirl with the camera as well. So we were sitting there, and to be honest, I'm going to be really honest because you're from South London and my mouth's a bit dry and I've had a bad day. Yeah, I'm going to be really honest. So we went to everyone.
Right.
Look at this space. We went to everyone. I've been in this industry 20 years. We said, we got this space. Let's come and make something. We'll go partners, we'll go 50. We went to everyone. We spoke, I'm not going to name names, don't worry. But we spoke to everyone, and everyone, yeah, we're going to do this. Everyone came round, and everybody gave us the runaround. And our goal was like, let's produce something in this beautiful studio that we can take straight to Netflix and just make some money. That was, so we went to all the people that we know that had worked with Netflix before. They came out, oh, the studio's great. Nothing came around. So I was sitting there frustrated. And I said to myself, you know what? If we've got the studio, no one wants to work with us, let's just work with ourselves. Let's just make something completely for ourselves that we don't care if it makes any money, we don't care anything. We just want to say, let's just tell a real story. What's the realest story I can tell? And I thought, well, come to think about it, and my editor told me not to mention this. I'm not gonna mention it. Because he just told me too many times not to mention it. But obviously the surviving thing was out there. Yeah, we don't need
fill
to
in the gaps.
Yeah. The surviving was everywhere, and everyone was talking about surviving this, surviving that. And I was like, bloody hell, do you know what it's like to survive in South London?
Right.
And it just went click, like a light bulb moment. It was just like, God, why don't we just tell them what it's like to survive in South London? So then I was like, you know what I could do? I can come and tell my story. So I need to get a drink in a sec.
Yeah, get a drink, mate. Let's get a drink. Get a drink. Yeah, take your time. Take your time, because while we're here, let's get a little look at the studio as it happens. So look, while you grab your bottle of water, just so we know where we're at, we're right there. Just for anyone, because before we forget, Shaka said like to have a look around while we're here. This is what we're dealing with as it goes. You've got the green screen over here, which is, you know, as Shaka also outed me with, this is all alien to me, but something fancy pants must happen here. And this is where you did the fighter, like face-offs and stuff like that, right? So, freshly refreshed.
Yep, little bit of water, so
That's
we
it,
tell
mate.
the story.
Boom, let's carry on.
All right. So as I was saying so we started thinking about, so I'm in South London, I thought, you know what? You know the story that doesn't get told? Because again, I'm not going to say no names, but there's a lot of podcasts out there. And you're probably a bit younger than me, but you're still from the era. And everyone's talking about names. And everyone's talking about how gangster they was. And you can see it, it's on the TikTok, it's on the YouTube. And I'm just saying, what about the guy that lived in all them estates, in all them places, and he didn't join the gang? And he just did the 9 to 5. And he just went and started his business. Why don't I tell my story? Tell the story of someone that's grown up in Lewisham, lived in Brixton, lived in Peckham, born in Croydon. Like every part of South London.
Tough places, rough places.
Yeah, the worst places.
Yeah.
I even stayed in Brooklyn for a while, just to add another place. Great, yeah, so I've lived in some of the worst places. I've never gone jail, never done road, never done that, always did 9 to 5, always stayed out of it. So I said, let's tell my story. Then I thought, if I'm gonna tell my story, why don't I get one of my friends that owns a massive school and has come from a similar environment? And then I thought, you know what? I know 5 or 6 people that are incredibly successful. Some of them did get into trouble, some of them didn't, but the majority of them didn't. So why don't we take the surviving name, flip it on his head, and show a different story?
Right.
Show the kid that grew up next to the gangster.
Yeah, right. Because as you said, like them places you mentioned, for anyone who doesn't know, who's not from London, might not have heard of them necessarily. I mean, probably have anyway because they're quite notorious, aren't they? But they're rough places. They're the sort of places that, as a kid, you're sort of told not to go to on your own, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? They're like them kind of thing. And how old are you? Or is it a secret, mate?
No, I'm 46.
So you would have been born in what year? If my maths is right, you're 79, right? I was going to say 79, 80, yeah. So these times are different, is what I'm trying to say as well, aren't they? Like times like. Obviously, it goes without saying, no social media. So, you knew people that you saw and you knew for the most part, right?
Yeah, some of the most notorious names of those areas, we was all connected and knew and stuff. Because again, and I think that's what the documentary touches on. And again, just other people that we started getting, so started reaching out. And then one of my biggest things as well, even when I spoke to you about maybe season 2, is I was like, I've never lived on a flat in my life that haven't had Indian and white people on the same balcony.
Right.
It's untrue that it's just black people living in South London.
Yeah, right, cool.
So I was like, how do we show diversity? How do we show different? That's when we got Dan from Brixton Streetwear. Because we was like...
Has he been, he spoke to him? Yeah. Well, he's been on here. Dan, shout out.
Oh, you know Dan?
Both of them, both brothers, yeah. They've both been on. Dan and Pete.
Yeah,
I've been in Brixton. We did it in their shop, yeah. We did the episode in there, yeah.
So
shout out the boys.
Shout out them out. So again, it was him, and it was just everyone's story, getting people together. Just how when you say South London, you're from South London, you smile. And a lot of people don't like South London, but if you come and meet people, everyone knows someone that's a South Londoner. So in a nutshell, we said, how can we tell the story of all the people that grew up here, but actually inspire the next generation to see the positive side? Not the guy that just came out of guns and gangs and jail, and now that everyone's giving him lots of money because he turned his life around. What about the kid that didn't do that? What about the kid that grew up watching all of his friends wearing Versace and you had to get fake clothes because you didn't want to do what they was doing? So it's humorous as well, it's not just tragic.
Yeah. Well, do you know what's funny? What comes to mind then? Not that I ever had it, but there was like, do you remember the Stone Islands back in the day?
Yeah,
when people had the fake Stone Island, right? But the thing that always stuck with me on them, and you'll know this too, is when someone had a fake one, it wasn't this that looked fake, it was this bit here. Yeah. That's the one that looked snide. So like, that's the one where everyone would do that and like, no, that's the fake one. But as I say, I never had one, so don't put me in that category. But I don't, I'm very close.
I had the fake Moschinos, the fake Versace's, the fake Armani's.
Is that right? Yeah, you had all that.
I was working in Saver Centre.
Saver Centre. God, man, that's an old school word. I haven't heard that anymore. It's now just a Sainsbury's, isn't it? Now it's just a normal Sainsbury's, but in the day it was a Saver Centre. But so like, when you was like in the 80s and stuff like that, your earliest memories are sort of mid-80s, I'm assuming. Like if you're born in 79, right? Like where are you living at this point? Where
right now, I'm in Kent.
Right.
So, ironically enough, I don't even live in South London.
So you're out of it, You're fake South London. Just butchered the whole episode, bro.
I know, I kind of killed all my credibility.
Jesus Christ.
We're South London, we're honest, innit?
Yeah, of course. But when did you sort of like exit South London, if you like, and go to Kent?
So I had two kind of exits. So funny enough, I had two kind of exits. So basically, I grew up in, I was born in Croydon, grew up in Lewisham all my life, lived in Brixton with my dad, because my dad was from Brixton. My dad was from Lewisham, but he moved to Brixton, Summer Leighton. So when I was 2-3, I was in Summer Leighton, then I was on Mostyn Road, so I spent a lot of time in Brixton and Lewisham. Then when I was about 20-something, went to Deptford, lived in Merritt Mansions, one of the most notorious, horrible estates in Deptford. Used to be a madhouse, lived there for a while, then after 3 years of there, I moved to Peckham on Sumner Road, right around the corner from Yellow Brick. It's like I was just testing myself.
I was going to say, testing grounds there. Jesus Christ.
Can I live in the worst areas and not get into trouble? So when I was there, it was crazy living in Peckham. But again, I saw a different side. I never got into no trouble with no one. I had a couple incidents, but nothing significant. And then after living in Peckham, I was working in a sales company called Informer. Now, no snitching thing, that's the company, name of the company. They used to do mobile telecom, so they used to go to Barcelona, Cannes, Monaco, all around the world, fly me there to go and sell advertising space.
Okay.
So I won't get into that, but my background is sales and commercial sales. So I'm going around to Barcelona, Cannes, Monte Carlo, closing 20, 30 grand deals, and then I'm coming back to Sumner Road and Yellow Brick. And one of the times when it hit me the most is like one time we've gone to Cannes, and then we've got like the companies chartered like a taxi to get us all home. And it's like, so 3 of the people have come back with me, and they're all Caucasian. And as they've got to like Peckham, they've all got terrified, and I can see it, and I felt so ashamed. I did,
really?
I honestly was just like...
And you're how old at that point?
I was about 25.
Right, so you're a grown man.
Yeah, grown man. I had 2 kids, wife.
Right, oh,
everything
proper
at
man.
that time.
Yeah.
I had my first house at 20, like.
All right, grew up fast,
yeah. I had my first kids at 20, then 21, then 22.
Jeez, yeah.
I had 3 kids by the anyway. We're not,
Yeah.
We won't go backwards to go forward. But long story short, I saw that and I said to myself, you know what? I met someone when I was in Cannes and they had a job for me in Westmoreland, which was in Kent.
Yep.
And I said to myself, you know what? When I saw the look in their faces, I was like, I need to get out of here. About a couple of days later, there was about a gunshot right behind my house. I got my little kids running around. I said,
right.
I'm getting out of here. I've done South London. I'm never coming back to South London.
Right.
So I moved to a little Kent village called Bearsted.
Okay.
Fully away from anywhere, living like some little hermit in the village. Got a nice little sales job. And I lived there for like 4 or 5 years.
Really? Well, that might be season 2. We might have to do Surviving South Kent or something.
Hey, listen, we got plans. So yeah, I was working there for about 4 or 5 years, had a good job. And then one day I was on the way back to Deptford and I was in my car and I was driving, I was listening to music and then my car just lost control. I was doing about 100 miles an hour. I just went whoop, looked up and then I went all the way across the motorway, hit the motorway barrier, bounced off another car and went headfirst into there and should have just died. Survived it with some guy just opening my door saying, you nearly killed me. Then he saw me. Then I went into a panic resort, then went into hospital. And then I said, you know what? I'm going back to South. I'm going to go and do RepDat. I'm going to go back into media.
Wow.
I was just like, if I'm going to die and I'm trying to get away from all this and I'm doing this job and my heart and passion is my own company and I'm making other people money.
Right.
Let me just go back. And then we went back to South. I started up RepDat like 13 years ago with all my friends from Lewisham. We started off as a YouTube channel. It blew up, turned into a TV channel. And
Back in the day, this is 13 years ago, YouTube was still quite, not new, but a bit like not everyone had a YouTube channel like they do now, right? It was different, wasn't it?
It was massive. So we was at the time of Graham Daly, SBTV, Link
Right,
Up.
okay.
So we was getting up for nominations and awards around them times.
That's cool, isn't
And
it?
then they got investment and went woof. And then we picked UK rap and then the whole world went behind Graham and they went woof.
Yeah.
And then we got left behind. So then it was just re-engaging and just moving on and building the brand, working for different TV channels, working a daytime job, but always keeping the brand in the back of my mind. We did a TV show called The Balcony. That was a big hit. Went to SBTV, Amazon Prime. And then we just kept building up a catalogue of work. Go to RepDat, Google it, you'll see the catalogue. We've worked with everyone in the industry. We've done award shows, music videos, like everything you can imagine.
Nice. And just going back a step there, like you said, where you had a car accident and whatnot.
Yeah.
What was that like? Was that bad injuries or was you kind of okay in
This is
that?
the scariest thing. The only thing I got from the injury was I lost 2 teeth and I got what we used to call a black man's pinch.
Yep, that's what
You
it
know,
is. That's what it used to be called, yeah.
So when like the bubbles and that was the only injuries that
So
I
you got
had.
away scot-free pretty much, right?
Scot-free. And you got to remember, stupidly enough, I was doing about 100.
Yeah.
Listening to music, turned up completely. And it's like the car just turned and yeah.
Just lucky, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Lucky,
We've all done silly
lucky.
things like that, haven't we?
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
when you look back, like we also know people that have gone the other side, they've hit the pillar and not come out the car, innit? Do you know?
I mean, literally, my cousin, I was supposed to go to LA all year. My cousin literally passed away 2 months ago in a motorbike accident.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, went
mate.
straight off his motorbike, came down on his head, it's gone.
Motorbikes are, you know, to me, not worth the risk. You know, they're not worth the risk.
Don't drive motorbikes.
It's not worth it to me. Like everyone I know that's ever been on a motorbike has got some
crashed.
sort of injury.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I
same.
Ain't worth it. Well, I had a friend as well. He used to box with years ago. I might butcher the story. I won't mention his name because in case I butcher the story. But he flipped his car somehow, like was just barely over the drunk limit. And it was like they thought it was coming up on a fatality. The police said, and he come out a bit like you scot free, like
It's
nothing.
divine intervention.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
they say.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just divine. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it's like that means I got a purpose.
Yeah.
That means I got to do something, and that was always my drive.
Yeah, there's a reason you're here type
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah. That was always.
But like
my
we
modes.
got speaking as well before this. We met obviously at a boxing
Yeah,
event, which
yeah,
we spoke
yeah.
about before. But your background's not actually boxing. You told me you did a bit of taekwondo and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
so-
How did you get involved with the boxing scene and all that stuff?
So I'm just a massive boxing fan.
Right.
That's my whole thing.
Good, we'll get into that.
Yeah, I used to like, everyone used to come to my flat back in the days and watch Mike Tyson fights. To be my mums, my uncles, my friends, my aunties, their dads, and we'd all be in the front room watching the Mike Tyson fights. So it was just like a religious thing.
Right.
So from early age, just watching the Riddick Bowe versus Holyfield, like every Tyson fight, he was my hero. Then there was Chris Eubank, that was my hero.
Right.
Prince Nazim for a while as well. Then Joe Calzaghe. And then, what's the guy that... Steve Collins, that was my favourite boxer.
Really? He was your favourite? I'm surprised you said that, yeah.
People don't realise how great he was.
Yeah.
Steve Collins was a monster. Go back and do your research. He beat up Ben, beat up Eubank, he was a monster.
He beat both of them twice, didn't
Twice,
he? People
yeah.
say, and it was at the end of their career, but people say it, but listen, he still beat them twice,
Still
didn't he?
beat them twice. He's a phenomenal. So that's my love. As you can tell, I'm a real boxer.
You're passionate, which I want to get into, because when you said your favourite fight was Mike Tyson, straight away you've got me, because that's my favourite fight. Where I'm a bit younger, like, I didn't really see him as it was happening in his peak. So he lost to Buster Douglas before I was born, right? But like, you're of the generation a little bit before, where you would have seen it, right? But it breaks my heart. It happened before I was there. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, as I say, Mike Tyson, my hero.
He didn't lose, you know.
Well, you can argue the 8th round, right?
He didn't lose because he'd already something like he already knocked him down, and they did a slow count. Yeah, and they did a slow count. Yeah. But then if you look at that, anyway, I'm not even getting into it. Tyson, shout me.
Tyson, come on.
Yeah, we need sponsorship.
But I tell you, I've got two sort of, like, when I was boxing was my sort of everything, if you like. The two people it was him and Roy Jones. And like Roy Jones, we met recently. He was at the show. And I've said this on here before, so I won't go into it too deep. But it was like a surreal moment. I was sat like not much further away than I am to you. I mean, probably 3 times the distance from you. You know, when you catch eyes with someone and you go, "Okay, Roy Jones, he's looking at me." And we got chatting. He was a great guy. And he was just like you beat on TV. And it was like just one of them mad moments where you go, like, "Fucking Roy Jones is here."
Do you know the scariest thing? This is how I knew Roy Jones was there. I didn't even know he was there. This is the scariest thing, and I've got the footage somewhere. I'm basically, because I was ringside the whole night. I think, he was ringside as well. So I was ringside. So I'm there, and then security's come over to me. He's like, "You're getting in the way of the commentary team." And I've looked over, and I'm like, "It's Roy Jones." And I've had a proper fan moment. And then I've tried to stay cool. And then I went over, I gave him a little spud, and he was cool. You probably spoke to him way more than me. I probably said 2 words to him.
But he was with Spencer Oliver, who also was a tremendous fighter in his own right as well. Had a brain injury, which is why he couldn't continue. Spencer Oliver. And I met him a few days before. I kind of not captured him, but we both got in a lift together. So he was stuck with me, wasn't he, for 30 seconds or whatnot. We was having a chat back and forth. Lovely fella. Again, just like you see on TV, like literally just chatting away. Normal guy. And he was with Roy, and he sort of remembered me from a few days before. We had a brief chat. As I say, great guy. But everyone that I met at that event was cool, wasn't it? Like on that card, for anyone who doesn't know, we had Shane Mosley was in the main event, fighting Matty Floyd, but you also had down the with Tony was fighting big Lucas Brown, former heavyweight champion of the world. And I think that what was how did that come back? It was a late dropout or something, right?
Late dropout. So again, you probably know more than me.
I think from
I was
what I know,
on the outside.
From what I know, it was a dropout because like Tony Giles, when you see him in the rings, like sort of what you'd say like a normal sized guy, right?
He's and middleweight. Lucas Brown's a monster.
Lucas Brown, like up close, is like a proper fucking behemoth of a man, isn't he? Like I mean, like when you're up tight on him, like I was chatting, he's a funny guy as well. I've got some
big him up as well. He gave us a shout for surviving.
Did he? Yeah. Well, he was really funny. He was like, again, I've mentioned it on here before, but he was obviously Matty Floyd, that part of the world, didn't they? Blah blah. And there was someone going, "Go on, Shane, go on, Shane." And he was going, "Hey!" And he's a big, scary looking guy with tattoos everywhere. And he went, "Hey, don't be biased." And you can see the person kind of went, "Okay." And he went, "Come on, Matty." You know, like messing about. So he was a character too, and he was really fun to talk to. Great guy.
And big up Matt Floyd as well, because obviously with the fight, I was working with him on the promotion, so I spent a lot of time with him, and he's a class guy. If you did an interview with him?
I spoke to him. No, we're going to get a podcast on.
Podcast. He's got a real story, proper good. I've got a lot of time for him.
So Matty as well. Like he's fighting soon, isn't he? He's got a bare knuckle fight coming.
Do you see that against James DeGale? I just saw him.
When this comes out, this might have just happened, so we might have missed it.
About 2 hours ago. The post to come out.
It came out. Yeah. So I'm going to try and be there for that one. Actually, some of my mates have got some connections that might get me up there.
Yeah. Well, shout me. Obviously, I'll shout Matt.
Yeah. Let's get there. Let's get up there for sure because. As you say, like Matty's got a great story himself, and I say a great story, like very hard life he's had, isn't he? I won't tell it for him. I'll let him tell it. Heartbreaking story he's got. I met him actually the week before. He was at the fight week for the Usyk Dubois. So I chatted to him briefly then, just in passing, and then we met again the week after, and we got chatting more. And he said he'd do the podcast. So Matty, if this finds you, mate, I hope we get you on here one day, mate.
I'll give him a shout.
Brilliant guy.
And we were funny, I was supposed to go to that fight.
Was you?
The Usyk Dubois, but instead we ended up watching. So this was one of my big fan moments. I'm conscious of the time, but this was my big fan moment. I got to watch the Usyk Dubois fight in a massive screen in a private cinema with Shane Mosley.
Come on.
And I'm a boxing fan.
Yes.
That was like dream tick moment.
Didn't text me that day, did you?
Yeah.
Didn't get me there for that whole hashtag South London, all that. Come on, bro.
Yeah, no, that was everything. And I was literally, me and him was going back and forth about the fight, the stance, the footwork, and we're talking about that. And then,
well, he's another one actually. We didn't mention speaking to him like
yeah.
What a guy,
Proper,
just a proper normal guy.
Man.
And it's funny, like I met Shane Mosley, would have been about 12, 13 years ago in a gym in Battersea, South London. Shout out. But we was there, and like he was at a point where he was sort of coming to the end of his career. I think he did fight again after that, but he was like coming to the end of his career, and he looked, to be honest with you, he looked older then than he does now. When I saw him this time, because I heard like he's 53, he's fighting again.
Yeah.
You know when you go, oh, don't. But then when I saw him the first day at Lions, when he walked up, I was like, that's fucking like, talk about roll back the years. Like the man was all good.
I can trump you guys.
Good.
Go on.
Muhammad. Oh, here we go.
Let's get him. Muhammad Ali.
Don't tell him.
Don't tell you.
Let's get a mic on. So we're.
I'll lean over.
Go on, talking. Whisper his ear.
No. You know what's pretty my bloody ear.
Muhammad Ali.
Get a bit closer to that, mate.
In those days when I was doing the adverts, there was.
It's all right. We'll catch that after. Just hold it. Go on, mate.
In the days when we were doing the adverts, we had Adidas, and we were telling the story about Muhammad Ali when he was a kid, and he was on the set with the two kids who was meant. One of them was meant to be him. One was meant to be his brother. And when they started fighting, they threw stones. You can probably search it up somewhere. It still exists. But so this was back in the 90s. He was, but he couldn't speak. But you could, and he's the huge hero. This is a man. I was when I was 7. I was getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch him fight. When he was all his mouth, that calm and the greatest. And I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and all that stuff. Loved all that as a kid, and so when I met him, I was in awe.
Yeah.
But though he wasn't able to speak, you could see the brightness in his eyes.
Well, I'll tell you what I've heard from someone who met him once. They said there was like, when he couldn't speak when they met him either. This was probably in the 2000s, but they said there was like an energy to him, and there was like something special about him.
I mean, oh my God, yeah, still charisma, still, you could see all the intelligence going off in his head. We were on a big table, and we had a little cheeky wardrobe mistress, and she used to disappear under the table to tie shoes up.
Whoa.
No, the long table. And Muhammad Ali was down the other end of the table, way down the other end of the table, right, watching everything we were doing because we were having fun. He was with his entourage, just doing business. But every now and again he'd look up, and then when he saw her go up, he went, "Ooh, where's she going?" You could tell. And he's just smart. And he used to do this thing where we did boxing and stuff, but he used to do this. He can elevate. And so with the kid, when the kids were around, he'd go like this, and it looked like he was taking off. Oh my God, that was that.
Brilliant guy.
I think I've knocked you dead with the Muhammad Ali one.